Hi, I'm architect Badrinath, and today I would like to talk about few of the projects that we did in one of an area in suburbs of Chandigarh, sector 82 Mohali. So in this, when we started off, like Chandigarh, as we know that it's a grid plan, so this was one of the, so we have an extended city like Mohali, and there are further extensions because of the new development. So there's a sector that is on the outer peripheral edge of the city. So we were trying to re-explore ways of to using concrete. Like in one of the project, we tried to work with hexagons, like it was in one of an initial project. It was very good for us and it was for the client also, because the building was rented out 3 times the prevailing rate of the market. So it was like we try to create the more like playful kind of hexagons in form of patterns. It needed a certain kind of skill. We had a good team we could work around, and it created like a sense of trellis which are like horizontal moving patterns and a kind of sense of free flowing patterns. And it was about also creating the glass behind, because all of the buildings have a common philosophy that we recess back the glass so that it could create a sense of space, because these were buildings which were very low cost. So we tried to cut down onto the cost of the glass, and also it would be easy to clean and it was more breathable to the kind of context, and it could cut off the sun. And there was an project wherein like it was we tried to create like kind of playful geometry, like it was having different curves. It was a small building, so we were looking at how we could create something that was like more flowing, and something probably the building looks bigger than it is. So it was done very like in a playful kind of manner. And there was a building wherein we were trying to look at ways like wherein we could, it was a corner building, so we had to look at ways where we could create huge cavities, more like a kind of a sense. And each of the building actually had a very subtle second layer in form of tubes. We were exploring unconventional materials, right from aluminum tubes to mild steel hexagonal frames, and something like even the stilt was taken part of the main facade. So it creates something that very interesting element. And there was a building which we wanted it to be like, it was built for something like to be more like a hotel, because due to the new airport. So we tried to focus on this tubular like a sort of a distorted quadrilateral or a boxy kind of an elevation, which actually had, of each of them had different kinds of balconies connected to it with some small little perforations onto the side. And it creates like each of them, like now they are all together, so each of them they form its own little like kind of dialogue with each other, which was very interesting. And it was also like the sense was like, if we have a sector which again has like a lot of very standard or like kind of mundane buildings, so these kind of they act like triggers, like probably like I would call it as an urban acupuncture, where we could do some kind of very interesting buildings in certain pockets. It will probably trigger more kind of effects, like we could have more buildings around, and in the end like the neighborhood becomes very interesting. And in one of a project, like it's a corner project where we could try doing with tubes of different kinds, and it's a vertical elevation where you have different kinds of tubes, and which creates these are like different kind of quarter circles, and it raises up. So each of them actually has a different geometry. Like the curve ones are done with like kind of a special shuttering plates have been made for it, and it creates like an opening. They open onto different kind of balconies next to it. And so these also like these need a certain kind of skill set. It is also like we are promoting like it's also helps us, gives us Like, because when the workmanship is good, like when you only have good workmanship, that is what you can do it. This kind of this timelessness is what we would try to create with these kind of designs, which is probably more could be a bit more challenging when you work with angular surfaces, because it might die out fast, but it could be done in a certain way that it could still stand out the test of time. In the end, like, it is also, we're also happy that it is helping the clients also getting good new clients, and they're also getting good tenants, and it's a win-win situation also. Probably after some time that would be like one of very interesting sectors, so we will be happy that we would be part of it.